Over the weekend, I had a few conversations with the hosts of progressive independent shows like the David Pakman Show. And unfortunately, the topic of discussion was that we are all seeing a bit of a decline in support for our programs. And what we saw right after Donald Trump was elected in November of 2016 was a massive increase in the number of people becoming members of our shows, becoming Patreon donors to our shows. And initially, this was catalyzed by the atrocities of the election of Donald Trump and the sort of early policy decisions of his administration. A lot of progressive independent shows in April and May of 2017 were further bolstered by YouTube adpocalypse, where many of our YouTube channels suffered as much as 99% decreases in ad revenue. So from about November of 2016 through about September of last year, there were just massive increases to the number of people supporting independent progressive media shows like the David Pakman Show. I don't want to say exactly which other shows I'm talking about because I didn't tell them. I'm going to mention, by the way, that I spoke to you. But you can imagine who they are, right? People know who it is that I talk to. People know who the friends of the show are. And what we've all noticed is that starting in April, right, so about 2-3 months ago, there have been some issues. And I spoke to the other show hosts, and everybody is experiencing something very, very similar, which is that we are seeing a sort of waning of Patreon support. If you look at our Patreon page and other show Patreon pages, you will see the number of pledgers, of patrons, has been sort of trickling down. We're currently in the middle of a Free Speech TV pledge drive. The pledge drive had to be extended, as you know, Pat, because of slow fundraising. This is not about one show. This is a systemic problem. And I think that there are 3 issues that are going on here. Number 1, hypernormalization has led to waning support for progressive independent media because people are unfortunately starting to get the mindset that, you know what, this is how it is. Trump saying suspend due process for undocumented immigrants, it's just not feeling that crazy because there have been another 100 crazy things in the last 3 months. Hypernormalization is affecting the right, but it is also affecting the left, and I believe it is leading directly to the detriment of independent progressive media. Number 2, net neutrality. The repeal of Obama-era net neutrality rules has happened, and that is going to be a further systemic threat to progressive independent media. And then number 3, media consolidation, which is very clear. It has been made abundantly clear will be welcomed under the current administration and Justice Department with the purchase of AT&T by AT&T of Time Warner approved. I think it was early last week that we did that story. We've experienced it. Patreon is trailing off. A lot of the memberships that swelled last year from demonetization, it's been a year. A lot of those people's credit cards have expired and their memberships are not being renewed. And this is a really bad direction. And it's really fundamentally a question of what you want. If the demand that there was for independent progressive media when Donald Trump was elected, when the marches were happening, when demonetization hit, if the demand for independent progressive media wanes, then independent progressive media will also wane in combination with net neutrality being repealed, with media consolidation continuing. That is not a good direction. That is not the way I want to see it go. If instead we can refocus and realize, hey, you know what? Our cable bills are about to go up because of what's going on with net neutrality and internet slow lanes and fast lanes. We are increasingly, if we turn on our TV, going to get our news from an increasingly narrow scope and point of view because of that media consolidation. And we don't want that. The path forward is very clear. And we often sugarcoat Pat and we use all sorts of different language to talk about support this and support that. Independent progressive media will not survive if it is not supported. And we have 2 ways for you to do that. And I am sort of reinvigorating my commitment to grow this base of support. Number 1, just make a small pledge on Patreon, okay? We're not asking for a lot of money. If 138 people pledge $1 a month, we will hit our goal of 2,000 patrons. just go to patreon.com/David Pakman Show. Pledge $1, okay? We now have a bunch of free stuff available with Patreon pledges, bumper stickers, T-shirts, discount codes for gear, the bonus show, the full show. Pledge $1, okay? And number two, the steadfast supporter of the program has been and continues to be membership. And if you go to davidpakman.com/membership, I don't care if you use the coupon code and save 40%. That coupon code is VoteSoon18. Whatever you can contribute, whether it's $1 or whether it's the big boy membership on our website of $480 for the year, whatever you can do it, because all of the shows like ours are starting to see it. And it's scary, Pat. And it is the normalization of what is going on. Everybody's used to what's going on.
It's a multi-pronged problem, right?
Yes,
Media
it is.
consolidation, hypernormalization, net neutrality, right?
Yes.
So we need a multi-pronged solution.
I like that.
And that's membership, that's Patreon, and so many other things too.
Complex problems require complex solutions. Although that's not even really true. It's not complex at all to just go to Patreon and make a pledge of $1, or to go to our website and to sign up for a membership. We will be restarting the YouTube live streams that I was doing some time ago. I am going to be recommitting to that. So we've got to make it happen, because the next 6 months up to and just past the midterms, and then we've got 2020. Like 2020 is just around the corner. I can assure you that we will not like the results if independent progressive media is not supported. Quick break, Pseudoscience mini-series episode 1 preview coming up next.